Hey everybody, welcome to another dog culture video. Today I'm going to show you how dog owners are the true dog abusers, and that wherever we see this type of over-the-top love for dogs, we always see a low quality of human life. So let's look at this. Here we are at Fox 12, Oregon, and they say a bunch of dogs are coming in to Portland, Oregon. So these dogs are from New Jersey. The Humane Society and other organizations have put these dogs onto a jet plane. They fly across the sky and land in Oregon. So they say this is from a dog fighting operation. They do this almost every year, sometimes more than once a year. They pull on everyone's heartstrings and they classify these dogs as being rescued from a dog fighting operation. I really suspect that not all of these dogs were actually being used for fighting. Most of these dogs are little puppies. Their skin, their eyes, everything about them looks especially healthy for a supposed fighting dog. So are they actually breaking up fighting rings? Or are they using this wording of fighting dog to get people to just really kind of fall to their knees and have their heartstrings pulled because they can save a fighting dog? There's a lot of stuff that goes on in dog culture that is not honest, and I suspect that this is one of them. However, let's just think about this dogfighting operation thing. Why don't they just stop the dogfighting operation over there in New Jersey? That's where these dogs allegedly come from. They get put on a plane, all of these logistics and time and money and jet fuel, and dozens, if not hundreds of people have to be part of this operation. Why not put that effort into doing things over in New Jersey so we don't incentivize these fighting rings? Because that's where the animal cruelty happens. If you really want to stop animal cruelty, why don't you go and de-incentivize all the dog fighters and take away their source of dogs? For example, here is just one of many stories from New Jersey where loose dogs in the neighborhood kill people or maim people, or they kill other pet dogs. How come New Jersey lawmakers, county commissioners, senators, citizens themselves don't take care of this problem and then make Oregon have to deal with it? Why can't New Jersey take care of their own problems? So the reason I'm bringing this up is because as an Oregonian, if you're taking these dogs in, you're creating the market for these tax shelter organizations to scoop up dogs from problem states. You are incentivizing that problem state to continue this dog fighting. All of the people over here in New Jersey that are watching all this crap happen with dogs, and it's like, well, we better do something about it, huh? We better get rid of these stray dogs. We better start forcing these things to be spayed and neutered. They're going to be like, well, maybe we don't have to, because the Humane Society will come on over, take a bunch of these dogs. We will get to look good, and then they can go put those dogs over in Oregon, and those dogs can mess up the lives of Oregonians, and then we can repeat it every year. And that's exactly what they do. If you start looking around at the stories from the local humane societies and the corruption, they just want to make themselves look good. They don't actually want to help protect their citizens from these dogs. They don't want to protect New Jersey's dogs from, look at this, these type of stray and loose dogs that kill humans and other dogs. They just ship these problem dogs over to Oregon, and by doing this, we incentivize this problem to keep happening. So as a dog lover, as a person that wants to sit there and act like, oh my God, I got to rescue this fighting dog, do you know what you're doing? You're just creating the market so that this type of problem can just go on and on and on. They're just tricking you and fleecing you of your money. And while we're spending all this money on dogs, bringing them over to Oregon, we have people that need our help. Poverty and little kids. And if you don't care about little kids, why don't you look around and look at all the dogs in Oregon? The stray dogs, the overflowing shelters, the dogs that already have cancer problems, worm problems, tick and flea problems. You want to bring more of that to your state? Why would you do that? Why not put some of this effort into our fellow humans? Humans that can grow up and be mayors, teachers, brothers, sisters, mothers. All these humans, I understand it's hard to raise a kid and it's expensive, blah, blah, blah. So you can just go get your little motherly hormones taken care of by adopting a dog. But in the long run, that dog's just going to die and be an expense and a liability. If you put some effort into your fellow humans, they can help you. All that effort can end up being paid back into humanity. Taking a dog and putting all that money into an airplane, a food, the jet fuel, and then what does it do? It just comes over here and brings heartworms, ticks and fleas, more feces and urine particles into your Oregon environment. And then what does Oregon do? Oregon does this type of stuff: go green, use less fuel, go solar, stop using so much water, stop putting so much waste products into the local water. Oregon even goes after small farms. Check out my link in the description about that. Oregon goes after small farms to hurt them for using too much water on their cattle, or if they have like one or two dairy cows. So it's all about water and waste and renewable energy, but yet they're bringing more and more dogs into our state, problem dogs from other states. And what are those dogs going to do? They're going to suck up all these resources, sit at home with the air conditioners on all day, drive around in cars, suck up more and more specialty dog food, top of the line science diet, pro plan dog food, which is a huge carbon footprint. So why are you bringing more dogs into our state if you want to go green, if you want to be about all this type of stuff, Oregon? As a dog lover, you should be aware of the blue-green algae that makes your dogs sick and also makes the little animals that live in the water sick. And much of these algae blooms comes from feces and urine that gets washed into the ocean, the streams, the creeks, the duck ponds, the fish ponds, because Oregonians, they just let their dogs piss and shit everywhere. Or they put those bags of dog poop all over the trails. There have been cases of young cattle eating those bags of dog poop and then they die. So, as a dog owner in Oregon, many of these people will stop and let their dogs run into the cattle fields and farms where it's made for animal grazing, cow grazing, but they'll let their dogs piss and shit there. So, you're just going to create more problems for more Oregonians by bringing more of these nasty dogs to your state. Dogs that are another state's problem. And this isn't just about protecting humans or cattle. This affects dogs too. Dogs get messed up by this blue-green algae as well. They get sick from it, they die from it. And some dogs that just have a mystery illness for a couple days, it could very well be from them drinking the own nasty algae that comes from their own feces. And did you know that Oregon is one of the top states for obese pets? So, what's up with that? We got obese pets, and then we're going to bring more pets into the state and make them obese too. All of these problems. This goes into my topic about the dog owners themselves are the real abusers. So many people that get these type of rescue dogs, the ones that are like, oh my god, he came from a fighting ring, he's more grateful. Those are the type of dogs that sit up in little apartments and get to eat steak, raw meat, hot dogs, Doritos, all types of high quality or high dollar human food, and they're the ones that become obese because these poor people get tricked. They get their heartstrings pulled. I can rescue him. He's going to be more grateful. And I don't know if I'm going to eat the best food, but I'm definitely giving a bunch of food to my dog. And then they become obese, and then they get all these type of problems. Abuse from dog owners. Here's a little meme I found on the internet. I just kind of randomly found it. Yeah. This is dog culture when women and children are mauled by dogs. Or any other problem from dogs. This is dog culture when some dogs were quote unquote rescued from a supposed fighting club. Boom, they're ready to go to action. So this whole dog rescue thing, it creates also this adversarial anti-human type of thinking in humans. It's like, oh, the problems that dogs cause for human society, we don't care about that. Oh, but I can rescue a dog and make myself look like a good person with little to no effort, even though it's going to cost me a bunch of money. Boom, everybody's all over it. So since we're talking about fighting dogs, and people in the comments, of course, on this local Oregon news stuff, they will say, wow, those people that fight with dogs are the worst humans ever, so I'm going to go adopt myself a bunch of these weird dogs that came over on a plane. Okay, well, guess what? The real dog abusers are actually the dog owners. Dogs go to these dog parks all the time, and then guess what happens to them? They get ripped to shreds by other people's dogs. There's plenty of information about this. There's plenty of stories about this. And guess who gets affected by all this? Where do these dogs have to go when they get their skin ripped off of their neck or veins exposed and blood squirting out and everything else? They got to be rushed to the veterinarian. And guess what about veterinarians? They have a high suicide rate. So you're helping increase the suicide rate of your fellow humans by bringing more dogs into your state where you're going to create more of these nasty dog fights. And these dog owners, they love to create little situations like this where these dogs are just full on fighting each other. It happens time and time again. So there's the dog abuse for you. More dogs, more dog fights. And then we spend more and more taxpayer money on these dog parks. And then where do these dogs go? Like I said, they go to the veterinarians. And the dog owners, they don't feel culpable for this. This dog owner is going to say, well, it was that dog's fault. This dog owner over here is going to say, well, that dog started it. This dog owner over here is going to say, well, my boxer got PTSD from all this. So when they go into the veterinarian, they're expecting a special deal. They're expecting a special credit card. And the veterinarians have to deal with this all the time. And I didn't just make that up. I've watched many of the interviews from veterinarians whose fellow workers have killed themselves. And it's mostly female people too. So feminists, where are you guys at on this? But you're just promoting more suicide in your state by bringing more dogs and creating more of these situations. The cost of this is the human quality of life. That's what I was talking about earlier. This is one of the more powerful examples of this. Just an interjection here. This isn't just like a couple dogs here and there. 350 dogs. This is a lot of dogs being brought into your state on a jet airplane when we have people around that need, other effort. And this is the Humane Society. So they are a tax shelter organization. They can do all of this with tax donations. They can write off all of their expenses. So you are paying for this. As an American taxpayer, you are paying for this over-the-top spoiling, over-the-top resource expenditure just for more and more dogs that cause more and more problems in the end. Here's just a quick little bit of info about one of the nonprofit organizations. 100 million in assets, 20 million in income. So they're getting a lot of this money from donations, from politicians, giant organizations that want to look good. Because look, we gave a bunch of money so that these people can cart a bunch of problem dogs into your state. So the issue here is very deep and has a lot to do with stuff in society that you don't think about when you just run over there to get yourself one of these shelter dogs. So that has been a few examples of how human quality of life goes down, how expenditures go up, the quality of life for existing Oregon dogs also goes down in the long run by bringing more dogs into our state. And I'll show you one more thing that I see as a pattern. Every time I look up one of these situations where we have over-the-top dog love or over-the-top this whole type of thing with rescuing dogs and carting them over to another state. So those dogs came from where? New Jersey, right? Well, what are you guys doing over there in New Jersey? Why are you so wrapped up in this over-the-top dog love when you got a freaking serious issue? I see this time and time again. Highly populated areas with stray dogs and kids being killed by dogs, and the popular media says, oh, dogs are better than kids. Dogs are better than humans. Oh, all these parents wrapped up in collecting more and more dogs in their house while more and more kids go hungry. Oregon, New Jersey, both the same type of thing. Look what you guys are doing. So how do you think all of this stuff happens in these dog-loving places? All of this child exploitation, sex trafficking, how do you think this happens? Well, you have a complete state of people that are sitting in their homes, and their main thing on their mind, the main source of them getting their dopamine hit, is worrying about their dogs all day, virtue signaling by putting pictures of their dogs up. More and more, they don't care about their kids. So if you're one of these sex trafficking people, and you live in a state or a town that is over the top, more pro dog and less pro human, it's a perfect environment for these people to operate. And another thing that happens with this type of stuff, prostitution, they use something called the pet lure. They should really call it the dog lure. But little kids grow up and they're told that, hey, you're not as good as a dog. Dogs are better. Dog people are good people. I trust dogs more than I trust humans. These little kids are brainwashed by this dog loving society. And so guess what? It's very easy for people to come up and say, oh, hey, I got a little puppy here. Do you want to check him out? Do you want to look? Oh, you want to help me give him some water? They use the dog lure to lure little kids in because little kids think, oh, that person has a dog. That must be that good person. Yeah, no. And some of what I said is speculation, but some of it I can prove. There's many documented stories of them using the dog lure to lure little kids in, or teenagers too. It's not just little kids that are tricked by this. And so, do you think, as somebody that's working in one of these sex rings, one of these, child exploitation rings, do you think when they're going to a society or a community where there's a bunch of targets, little kids that they want to capture, do you think they're not using dogs? I bet they are. I mean, I don't know for sure. I only know a few stories. I'll put them in the description for you guys to check out. But everywhere we see over the top dog love, we keep seeing this. So, as an Oregonian, you're sitting here collecting dogs from other states. You're incentivizing a little bit for this to happen in those states too. So, yeah, this whole dog rescue thing, it's just a bunch of BS. It's just a bunch of propaganda. And in the long run, the whole thing about dog abuse goes up too. Because without dog abuse, these all of these places, like this news organization, like this crate company, like the Humane Society, if the local agencies actually ended the dog fighting and ended the dog abuse and got these damn things spayed and neutered, then these companies wouldn't exist. They would actually have to go do pro-human things. So this is all just a grift. It's all just a political, financial, economical thing to tear society down by throwing more dogs into it. And it's an easy way to fleece Oregonians of money, resources, water, and everything else. Talk to you guys later.